Hi everyone, it's Judy Eichhorst, high performance coach, and I decided to do this video outside here in my backyard because it's a lovely, beautiful day. We've got some nice clouds in the sky, and it's beautiful out here. It's a little hot, but loving it. And I wanted to talk about high performance. That's the kind of coaching I do, and I really like to help people get to a place of heightened and sustained levels of high performance, which there are 5 of the pillars there that are clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. I wanted to talk to you about those 5 pillars today because so many people have a tendency to think about high performance when they first hear those words. Think about race cars or a way a sports car will run. Also, I've heard people, they think right away about something like an athlete or a superstar. And I'm here to tell you that high performance is for anyone and everyone who has just a yearning to have more in their life, better relationships, and more energy to get done what they want to do, maybe more things that they want to do in life and trying to figure out how to get that done. And so let's just talk about each one of these pillars, and that first one being clarity. And I want to tell you a little bit about what clarity is and then what clarity isn't. So sometimes when we use some different words, it really helps everybody get a sense of what clarity would be for them. So I want to use some different words for clarity, like definition. How would you define who you are in this world, what you stand for, what your character is, how you want to be in the world, and where you're headed in the world? And even if you aren't somebody who loves to have, a 3-year plan and a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan, I'm guessing you at least have some amount of a desire to help create the life that you really want to have. And being able to have the clarity of who you are and what you want really helps. So the words of distinctness, the word of transparency, we hear that word a lot. Being transparent in this world, first of all, to be transparent, you have to have a lot of clarity about who you are. Even in simplicity, that is a clarity all of its own if you're trying to live a life of simplicity. And if you are lacking some clarity, you would notice some things like having some real obscure notion of what you're going to do today or this week or this month, or a feeling of being confused about who you are and what you stand for and where you're headed and how you got where you are now. A feeling of almost like, this isn't my life. I don't know how I got here. That's a real sign of lack of clarity. And this is something that can be worked on, and this is something where you can develop that clarity by really sitting down and saying, who am I, and starting to put some words to paper. And then the next one is energy. And with energy, we can actually generate some energy. And if you are looking for, well, what exactly do you mean by energy? That is our liveliness. It's the life that runs through you. It's the joy, the vitality, the vigor, your aliveness, your awakeness, your ability to have more time in the day. You're never going to have more hours, but when you have more energy, you find that you get more done. You are able to come home from work and still have, that energy to want to prepare perhaps a meal, or to sit and have some conversations that you want to have with your kids, or to spend a little time on your hobby, not having to just come straight home and want to collapse. We all have some days where we feel like that, but when we increase our energy, we actually have more of that vim and vigor. When you aren't having the energy and you want to increase it, what you might be feeling is some real lethargy or some tiredness. I hear people talk about, I just get home from work and I'm just so tired. And there are ways to prevent that and to get yourself to a place where you don't feel so tired at the end of every day. Excuse me. Oh my, I think we got a few allergies going on out here on this beautiful day. The third one is courage. And with courage, we talked a little bit about that last week. And when you're feeling in your place of courageousness, you're feeling that positivity and Even other words that we could use is trust and faith. You know, when we have trust and faith, that's a piece of having the courage to do what we want to do or to speak up for what we want to speak up about. Also, our determination would be another word, or our endurance, our boldness, our grit, our guts. Those are all words for having more courage in this world. And if we are without courage or low on courage, we are feeling fear. We might be feeling distracted. We might feel doubt. Now, not doubt as in, I don't know how to do that, but doubt as in, I doubt that I can do it. I doubt that I can learn how to do that. I doubt that anyone would listen to me if I spoke up. You know, that's a sign of courage being low, and that's something we can raise to get you to that place of heightened and sustained levels of courage. That next one is productivity, and that does have a lot to do with our output. What are we putting out every single day? Are we getting a lot of work done? Are we getting a lot accomplished in our relationships? Are we building relationships? You know, productivity can be the fact that, hey, if I go in the grocery store to buy my groceries, I speak to a few people while I'm there. I spread my joy around the store. You know, that's a piece of productivity, because you're walking in there and you're being present and you're being aware and you are giving to this world. That is a piece of your output, is the way you walk in and what you do with your energy and your voice and your smile and your facial expressions and body language. And also, it's, you know, also how much work you do get done and how fast do you get it done. You know, we all have the same amount of hours. We all have the 24 hours. But sometimes, you know, I have done this, and I don't know, maybe you haven't, but I've spent 8 hours getting a 4-hour job done. And that's when I'm being unproductive. That's when I am being inefficient, because I didn't either have some clarity or I didn't have some energy. I was perhaps distracted, and a 4-hour job took me all day long. And if I would have those 4 hours back, think I could do all sorts of things that I love to do with that time. And so being productive, those heightened and sustained levels of productivity really, really help us serve the world. The last one I want to talk to you about is influence. And influence has lots of really cool words to it, and maybe things that you hadn't really even thought of before as being influential. Because influence is more than just getting somebody to see your way. Influence is about motivating people and inspiring people. It can be about being a really great role model. In your parenting, think about how you want to shape your children's lives, how you want to impact them, how you want to fire them up and motivate them for certain things. This all comes from your influence. And then if you're the boss at work or a leader at work, you know, there's that leadership and being able to inspire people to step up to the plate and give their best, to give their absolute best, because you've got all those great people at work that just would love to do their best for you. Now, when you're lacking in influence, you can actually get in the way. You can actually get in the way of people becoming their very, very best. And you can start to find that you could impede their process, especially if you're like a manager and you have people that are under you, or a parent and you have children looking up to you. If you get too into the details, some micromanagement, things like this can actually impede process and keep people from doing their very best or speaking up. If you're too critical, people won't speak up. People won't give you their great ideas, and it actually can make things worse, and you can become an obstacle. But I know that you want to be that role model for your kids, for your volunteer organizations, for wherever it is that you are out there being of service in this world. And so influence and the ability to persuade and to be that role model, all of those become very important. Now, all 5 of these pillars work together so that it becomes, when you are working on all 5 of them and trying to increase them and getting more and more heightened and sustained levels. I've actually got my fountain came on behind me. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. When you get all of those together, that's what becomes the high performance, is because they all play off one another. With more energy, you can get more done. With more clarity, you know how you want to be an influence in this world. with being a better influencer, then you get more done at your work, and you end up with more clarity for the people that work with you, more clarity for your family, more clarity for your marriage. So all of this becomes high performance. And I would just encourage you to think through any of these things and leave some comments below this video and let me know what you're going to do today to heighten your performance today. I'd love to hear anything that you learned from this, anything that was a nugget for you in your life. Just write it down in the comments below. Or if you have any questions, I'd love to hear that too. You have just a super, super blessed and joyful day. With lots of love. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.